Hi Shivam, let's take a look now at your set of essays. Okay, the first one is about technology. Here's what you wrote. Experts throughout the developing and developed world have debated whether mechanization has distanced people from each other or not. Some believe that technology has indeed made the public more antisocial. Okay, personally, I strongly disagree. The essay will argue, full stop. The essay will argue that innovation has brought people closer to one another by using examples from the gaming industry and social websites to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, fine so far. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that technology has disconnected people's social life, by isolating individuals and fixating them on technical devices. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, the gaming industry has introduced solo gaming consoles with improved quality of screening. I don't know what you mean by that. Secondly, long-lasting games soon become addictive for the player. For example, recent empirical research by Harvard University, without the demonstrated that 90% of all lone players with virtual reality gaming screens feel secluded from reality, get rid of the, and prefer to stay like that for hours. It must not be forgotten that although high tech has limitless options to connect people without the two, such gameplay makes it impossible to socialize. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that computerization has shrunk the connection sphere of people. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about your decision to do this. Look at what you said here. You said that you strongly disagree, okay, that it's made people more antisocial. You say then that you think that it's brought people together, and you also say that you're going to talk about the gaming industry to prove your point. But this whole paragraph, which focuses on the gaming industry, which is, nicely written, I liked it, but it's talking about how technology has just isolated us. So, to be quite honest, because you also said that you strongly disagree, I don't see the point of this paragraph, okay? Now, if you're going to have a concession paragraph, it's important to do it accurately. Remember what this question has asked you. It's asked you to what extent do you agree or disagree. You have answered that you strongly disagree. Okay? So, that means that, we assume you're going to talk about the fact that technology has just made us more social. And then what you do is you talk about, how it has just, made this whole population of people who are into gaming completely antisocial. So I'm very confused by this. Now, if you had wanted to write a concession paragraph, and if you had wanted to include this, you could have simply phrased this differently. So what do I mean? You could have said something like, personally, all right, no, let me try it again. So some people believe technology has indeed made the public more antisocial. Personally, I believe this is true as far as gaming is concerned, but on the whole, I believe it has brought people closer to one another. Now, if you had said something like that, it would have made sense, because then you would have had this kind of loophole. You would have explained that, yeah, gaming does make people really isolated. And then this would have made absolute sense. Okay? So remember that what your introduction does is it introduces your ideas, it introduces your opinion, and it essentially gives the reader kind of like a roadmap for what to expect in the essay that follows. So reading all of this, I could not have imagined that this is how you were going to write your essay. All right? So I hope that makes sense. I hope you understand what you needed to do differently. All right? If you're not sure, let me just say it again. If you wanted to have a concession paragraph like this, talking about the side that you don't really agree with, you could have done that. But you needed to make that make sense here. You needed to explain it here that, on the whole, I think technology is wonderful, except for those online individual games, which really do in fact isolate people. Okay, so you needed to do something like that, but you needed to let us know in your introduction. Let's take a look at the second body paragraph now. On the other hand, although there is a case for technical devices it's too wordy here, Shivam. So, on the other hand, although there is a case for technical devices disconnecting the public, the impact of social websites on connecting a mass group of people cannot be overstated. This is largely because, you don't need this comma here, the internet has connected every corner of the world. For instance, social websites like Facebook, Skype, Gmail, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, and WhatsApp have bridged messaging, video calling, job applications, email writing, live telecasts, and entertainment to a new level of socialism. You don't mean socialism. That's something totally different, okay? Consistent with this line of thinking, networking websites are currently peaking as the first steps towards knowing, different types of people. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that science has linked people in an inconceivable way before the past half century. Okay, so let's talk about this paragraph a little bit. You talked about the numerous websites and applications that we have to connect us. But have you shown how it has made us more social? Okay, just because there's a lot of websites that allow people to communicate, that does not necessarily make them more social. Does that make sense? It might make socializing easier. It might give a person more options. But can you show us that it makes us more social? So, in other words, a person who, without all of this technology, would have had maybe 5 friends. Can you show me how this person now has 20 friends? Okay? Or maybe a person who would speak to 5 people on a regular basis. Is he now widening his circle to speak with 50 or, whatever? Do you understand what I mean? So think about what it means to be more social. How do we show this? How do we prove this? So just the fact that we have these doesn't really, definitely make us more social. It's kind of like just because you have an exercise machine in your home, it doesn't mean you're becoming fit. Do you understand my comparison here? So also, you mentioned things like job application. You mentioned, you mentioned job applications and stuff like that, and live telecasts. That doesn't have anything to do with being social or being more social. So also be careful with that as well. All right. You need to stick to just this idea of being social rather than some of the other things that happen online. All right. So, from the arguments and examples given above, I firmly believe that although modernization and technology has distanced people, the infinite network of people built is far greater than any other achievement accomplished by mankind. It is predicted that more scientific and technological advances will only grow in the distant future. Okay, now this is really quite nice. I liked this. And in fact, this sentence here, this is what I had hoped to see in your introduction. So do you see how although modernization has distanced people, the infinite network built is far greater than any other achievement? So that's the kind of thing that I expect to see in your introduction because of what you ended up writing in that first body paragraph. So just keep that in mind when you do have a concession paragraph like this, that you make that clear from the beginning that you're going to do that, okay? I thought that was nice. Okay, so Shivam, let's see, we've talked about this quite a bit, your task 2. So I want to go straight into your task 1, see what you did there. All right, so let's look at your Albion University letter. Let's see what you wrote. Dear Sir or Madam, I'm writing this letter to apologize for not attending the Math 4 exam that was held last week. Unfortunately, I was severely sick and was powerless to move for a couple of days. My name is Shivam Patel, student number this, and exam case number this. Perfect. The early morning of the exam, I had, capitalize your eyes please, I had extreme stomach ache. We don't really say that. I had, we always say a stomach ache. So I had an extreme stomach ache and was taken, well, not even extreme, that's rather strange too. I had a terrible stomach ache. That's probably a more accurate collocation here. So let's try that again. The early morning of the exam, I had a terrible stomach ache and was taken to the St. Joseph Medical Hospital. There I was diagnosed with a 3 millimeter kidney stone, which made me immobile for a couple of days. Since my parents live out of the city, the only other person I was able to get in contact with was my friends. My friend. Oh, my friend. Okay, sorry. So I asked him to immediately send a sick note to the exam committee. Unfortunately, he just sent a letter with no file report. With such severe pain, I decided to send you the letter and the proof later. Please find the file report attached below the letter with the doctor's statement. Furthermore, I once again offer my deepest apologies for not sending you the sick note on time. I assure you that this error of judgment will not be repeated ever during my time of studying at university. I hope you can understand my situation and grant me a later date to rewrite the paper. Yours faithfully. Don't forget your comma. Now, it's lovely. It's lovely, Shivam. It really is. Let's talk about what you did in terms of the task achievement. Did you apologize? Yes, you did. You apologized twice. That was perfect. You identified yourself very nicely. You gave a very full explanation. Okay? Now, let's talk about number 4, possible resolutions to consider. Very briefly, you just said, I hope you can understand my situation and grant me a later date to rewrite the paper. So what's wrong with that? First of all, it's one resolution. What does it ask you for? It asks you for resolutions, plural. And this is a really important point to remember. Okay? So it's not enough to just write one resolution. You see here that they have it in plural, which means that they want at least 2. They did something similar here. They said an explanation and any possible evidence. This you got and you covered them both. Even the identification, they asked for 3 separate things and you provided them. Well, it's the same thing here. They want more than one. And you can tell that they do because it's plural. Otherwise, they would have said a possible resolution. All right, so this is where the writing portion of the exam can be very tricky. So you have to be really, really careful, okay? And really just pay attention to those details. This kind of error, unfortunately, in an exam situation would definitely lower your task achievement score. So I want you to be careful about stuff like that and make sure that you're really, really, really closely looking at the the tasks, okay? All right, so that's your that's everything about this set of writing. Good job overall. A lot of things I liked, some things that need to be worked on, but a good set. So go ahead and correct them. Come back to us with another set, and let's see what you write. Well, I'll be waiting for them. Good luck.